TYDE Music is a collaborative company that makes instruments in North Lake Tahoe, California.
We kind of focus on ukuleles and other small portable instruments. For the ukuleles, we build 4 different sizes, and we have a soprano, a concert, and a tenor and a baritone size. It's a Hawaiian instrument, and the Hawaiians called it the ukulele, which means, I think, jumping flea, because the way they played it was real quick and it was like a flea jumping up and down.
We use a lot of materials from around the area. We've started out with the reclaimed woods because that's what we have available. We like different grains and different colors of woods to use in our instruments, and also tone-wise as well. They all have a little bit different sound. One of our partners, Klein, really turned us on to this building concept that, yeah, you can go out and you can use reclaimed materials because they're right in our backyard, and it's got character, it's got a story.
Our absolute favorite materials to work with are recycled piers out of Lake Tahoe, mostly because you're so close to extreme elements of the microclimates that swirl through Lake Tahoe. The sun bouncing off of the water and the way that magnifies, calcifies, and just bakes that wood, it condenses all the different wood structures. Then you have winds swirling up as they do in storms that'll just pop off at Lake Tahoe. They'll grab the sand and sandblast and put almost like an alligator print onto the wood. And then the ice comes in and it's breaking apart different places. Where the water drips, it does it more.
There's a lot of politics involved in taking something down in the basin of Lake Tahoe, and luckily our next door neighbor right here is the pier builder on the north shore of Lake Tahoe, and so he dismantles them and rebuilds them. We get to go down with him, pick out materials from the pier that he's dismantling.
We start very carefully lifting the boards off to try to keep them intact as much as we can. And we're looking to cherry pick the very most interesting, most lake-affected boards that we can. And then there's the job to stacking them carefully, keeping them from twisting.
That office view, nothing like it. That's the best office. You go out there, you get to go check out material that has been weathered for years. We get to go experience these old piers that are falling apart, and they're reborn into an art form that we're like looking for different, knots and different textures and different materials to use. I mean, we even use some of the nails. Those aren't all going into the trash. There's so many things that you can think of. Your mind kind of is like, what am I gonna do with this material? Let's make something special, and it's a full-on story. Some people have been on that pier before.
I think the most successful pieces we have are when we find those pieces that show the reclaimed or the rough edge, and then we put that into an instrument. So someone does know when they look at that, they're like, okay, that's an ukulele, but why does it look like it's kind of chipped up, or how did that happen? And when someone looks at one of our instruments and can instantly recognize that, yeah, that came from an old piece of wood, an old barn, an old pier, old whatever, I think that's a pretty successful piece of art.
A lady that came up to us at the Reno Ukulele Fest fell in love with one of our reclaimed instruments, and we told her the story about it being from a Lake Tahoe pier, and that's what really touched her heart, and she walked away with that ukulele that weekend because her mom used to live up in Lake Tahoe, and that's what sold the instrument to this lady, was because it brought up childhood memories and thoughts of her mother. I wish there was more people like us to actually take material and make art with it and not have it go to the landfill and have other nasty things going back into the earth. I'm a big fan of just reclaiming wood and getting it locally sourced, but obviously we can't work with it all the time. Some people want that exotic wood, and we're not gonna say no to it. That's our clients. There's a lot of reclaimed materials that people are using, and I'm just stoked to be a part of it, and I'm excited to build more instruments out of it.